What is up, ladies and gentlemen? But most of all, you ladies out there, thanks for clicking on another episode of Break the Silence. I am your host, Cyborg. Are the Lakers in shambles? Let's talk about it. Split out! The NBA season is just 5 days away, and we're getting hype, we're getting ready, so we're trying to hit on as many NBA teams as possible. So today, we are talking about the Los Angeles Lakers. I think it's fitting because there was a video that went viral of Russell Westbrook not joining the huddle in a couple different situations last night in their preseason game. Pat Bev tried to call together a huddle of all the Lakers players, and Russell Westbrook just kind of ignored it. They showed it from a different angle. Looks like maybe Westbrook was talking to the ref or something along those lines. And then pregame, when the rest of the entire team was huddled up, Westbrook was off by himself on the bench, getting himself ready, and the rest of the team was in a pregame huddle. Thought it was a little interesting. But so we're going to talk about that a little bit, but we're also going to use this as an opportunity to talk about the Lakers heading in to the season here. My plan is we're going to talk about my top 8 teams in the West and the East, and then I'm going to talk about the 2 teams that I think will make the finals. So those videos will be coming here in the next couple days. So please take a second to like and subscribe to the channel. We're getting so close to 500 subs, and we're going to get there. We're going to get there, and we're going to keep grinding all season because we can't wait for basketball, and it should be an awesome season. So let's talk a little Lakers basketball here. So I talked about that video, and couple comments were saying that Westbrook is someone who normally kind of stays out of those pregame huddles. I've never seen that before. Maybe that is the case. I do think that kind of hits on maybe a little bit more of an overlying problem with Westbrook, though. A little bit of a solo act in a sense. And I'm not here to talk about Russell Westbrook too terribly much and hate on him, because that is just done way more than enough in the media. I kind of want to talk about the Lakers, and obviously Westbrook will be a part of that conversation. But so let's talk about this, though. The big thing that I said when LeBron James signed his 2-year contract extension with the Lakers was that I thought that him signing that only had one real benefit to him. Because when you're looking at that, LeBron doesn't need to sign a contract extension, because do we have any doubt that LeBron could get a max contract with any other team? Or does LeBron even need a max contract? Like, worst case scenario, if LeBron maybe took a step back this year, is he not going to get a contract next year somewhere else if he wanted to? I don't think so. But so when he signed that contract, what that told me is that they have promised him, if you sign this contract for the 2-year extension, we will be willing to trade our 2027 and 2029 first-round picks if the deal is right. Now, this was the big storyline about the Lakers in the offseason. They were going to try to trade Russell Westbrook, and there was a couple different packages that had been being discussed. But the big thing was those other teams wanted the Lakers' 2027 and 2029 first-round picks, because that's the only ones they still have, because they lost a couple in the AD trade. And I can't remember if they traded any for Westbrook or not, but they lost quite a few in that AD trade. So the Lakers have 2 more first-round picks. Now, what you got to remember, LeBron James will not be on the team in 2029, more than likely. 2027, probably not. LeBron is a freak of nature, so maybe he lasts a little longer, but 2027 is pretty far away. So you're talking about picks that could be valuable if that's the year after LeBron or the 2 years after LeBron. So other teams do have values in those trades, and Russell Westbrook's contract specifically does have some value. Now, if you're talking about this, if we're 2 teams, and for instance, the big one is the Indiana Pacers. If the Pacers are talking with the Lakers, and the Lakers say, we'll give you Westbrook and a first-round pick for Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. That's the big one that's talked about a lot. This is something that you would consider, because not only does that allow you to tank a little bit, which we'll get into a little here, because I think this is a big overlying topic here, but The Westbrook contract would make it to where he's only got 1 year left on his deal. It's $47 million, and it would free up a ton of cap space going into next season. You could get off of the Buddy Hield and Miles Turner contract. Now, the thing you got to remember, and it's something that I've mentioned here, this kid Victor Wembanyama is being called the greatest prospect we've seen since LeBron, and potentially even including LeBron. He is an absolute alien, is what everyone keeps calling him. And if you watch his highlights, he's 7'4" and can do anything on the court. It is truly unbelievable to watch. The reason that this is important when we're talking about this season coming up is that I believe the tanking in the NBA will be hitherto undreamt of. I think that if your team gets off to a slow start, you're going to immediately look at ways you can get in that Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes. The other thing you got to remember, even the number 2 pick, Scoot Henderson, is a very, very good prospect that a lot of people really like. So, what we'll see this year, and this is where the Lakers come into play. The reason that they haven't pulled a trigger on a trade quite yet for Westbrook, in my opinion, is because about midway through this season, right before the trade deadline, when teams are trying to get off of a couple of their players, and they're trying to go full tank mode for Victor Wembanyama, then a couple assets will be available for a little cheaper. And that's something that is very, very important to take into account for this season. So the Lakers will, maybe if they wait 3 months, can trade Westbrook and those 2 first-round picks and get a little better trade package than they would currently get right now. And that's really wild to think that a dude who's not even in the NBA yet will have a major factor on this season, but I believe he will, and I think you'll see it in the coming months here. It leading up to the trade deadline, which I think is normally in February. But so let's look at the Lakers roster a little bit here. Lakers have LeBron, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, Kendrick Nunn, Patrick Beverly, Troy Brown, Thomas Bryant, Austin Reeves, Dennis Schroeder, Lonnie Walker, Juancho Toscano Anderson, and Damian Jones. So they added quite a few new pieces. Now, the big problem, I think, for the Lakers is if I asked you the question, who's their third best player? I think that's a really tough question to answer because I think we're all fairly down on Russell Westbrook. I mean, who do you say? Patrick Beverly or Austin Reeves? Kendrick Nunn, potentially. But I think when you're looking at the Lakers roster, obviously LeBron and Anthony Davis are great. And if those two are able to stay healthy, this team will win games. But if those two are a little banged up, miss some games, 3 through 15 on this roster is fairly weak, especially at the big man position. If you got Damian Jones starting and then Thomas Bryant coming off the bench, I just don't love it. I just it's fine. Thomas Bryant is fine. I just don't know that that's a team that will be able to compete in the Western Conference. And when you're looking at the Lakers, I am a massive LeBron fan. I'll say that up front. So I would love to see LeBron have another good year. I love seeing LeBron in the playoffs. I think he's exciting to watch. I think that's something that I look forward to every year. But when you're looking at the rest of the West, are they better than the Timberwolves, Pelicans, Warriors, Nuggets, Grizzlies, Clippers, Mavs, or Suns? Those are 8 teams. 8 teams make the playoffs, and I don't know that you could make a legitimate case that the Lakers are better than any of those 8 teams. Now, obviously, injuries will play a big part in the season. That could hurt the Lakers. That could help the Lakers, if one of these stars, some of the stars go down for these other teams, and maybe that's how they squeak into the playoffs. But my guess, honestly, would be they're more of a play-in kind of team. And that's crazy to say. Now, if LeBron and Anthony Davis, if you told me they were going to stay healthy for 82 games, maybe I'd pick them to squeeze into the playoffs. But does anyone believe that they're going to be healthy for 82 games at this point? I really hope that they are. I always want to see these teams at full strength, but I think if you're gambling, I would not put a lot of money on this team making the playoffs or winning a championship. I think those are tough bets. But the Lakers, I'm just not very high on them. I think the roster's a little poor. But the thing that I mentioned before, if this team makes a trade, if this team in 4 or 5 months, there's a team that's unloading talent and they're able to package Westbrook with a first-round pick or 2 first-round picks to get a real asset or two, then maybe we'd have those conversations. Maybe we'd have those conversations. And then the other thing is, and the reason that, they haven't got off those picks yet, worst case scenario for the Lakers, Westbrook plays out this year, and then they have a ton of cap space heading into next offseason to where they could really make real moves with their roster. But you don't want to waste a year of LeBron James' career. He doesn't have a lot of years left, and you're talking about one of the 3 greatest players of all time. So really interesting to see how the season unfolds for the Lakers. I think we're going to hear rumors about them up until the trade deadline and even to the trade deadline. So we'll see what happens with them. We'll see what happens with this Westbrook trade, this Westbrook drama. If this team's able to gel, they play opening night against the Warriors. The Warriors got some stuff going on of their own. But we got more basketball to talk. I'm actually going to record another video here in a second. But appreciate y'all watching. Please take a second to like and subscribe to the channel. We're going to have so many videos coming out, so you don't want to miss any of the content. Cyborg out.